He came here from New York 35 years ago to play baseball at UT. But when an injury ended his dreams, his bat became part of his arsenal as a mafia enforcer.
I admitted to dozens of shootings, multiple murders. I would go do shootings by myself. I wouldn't even bring guys.
Ruthless.
I'd shoot 3 guys, 4 guys at a clip.
He was with the Gambino crime family, John Gotti Jr., and his father, the famous Dapper Don. But John Alite saw opportunity back in Tampa. This time it wasn't baseball, it was organized crime.
Tampa was an open city. I knew there wasn't a lot of competition down here.
And he knew the mafia history of Tampa.
For years, the Traficantes were down here making big money, and I seen an opportunity, and I moved down here and made a ton of money. So I grew up in Woodhaven, Queens, Jamaica Avenue. I was a young boy that came from a family that just came from Albania. My father was born over in Albania, and it was a rough country, known for being at war since the Ottoman days. Was no money. It was a third world country, suppressed communism. So when I came into, when I was born and my father came into the United States, married my mom, people really didn't know what Albania was. It wasn't like saying you're Italian or Greek or another nationality that people really knew. Because the country was so closed down or locked down, you didn't have that many Albanians. So I grew up where my father believed in violence as a protection, not as a use to hurt people. He wanted to make sure that I could handle myself and not get bullied in the streets. He was a street guy. He played dice on the street and stickball and box, and he knew all the gangsters, and he got very friendly with guys like Lucky Luciano's cousin, Blackie, Charlie Luciano, same name, and I became one of his partners over the years. So these guys like El Greco, tough gangsters, killers, El Greco was the norm of people that I started seeing as a young boy, 3 or 4 or 5 years old. I was on their laps. And so as a kid, it was very natural for me to be and see violence. I look at these guys that I wanted to be just like them. I wanted to be tough like them. I wanted to be an El Greco as a gangster. So everybody that I surrounded myself with were tough guys one way or another, and street guys in my eyes. And you have my baseball coach, who was Fat Andy Ruggiano's son. So Fat Andy Ruggiano was a captain, the boss of our neighborhood that was part of Murder Inc. And Lucky Luciano and Albert Anastasia was his guy. So Albert Anastasia straightened out Fat Andy Ruggiano, made him a made guy in 1954, I believe. This is my grandfather figure. This is my baseball coach's father. And this is a guy that starts really opening my eyes to the next level of becoming a killer. So by, I guess, about 12 years old, I'm playing baseball and I'm using that bat to hit a ball. But then I start using that bat as favors to different gangsters, saying, hey, can you go pick up money for me here or there? And it's a slow transition before you realize you're going to use that bat and put it over someone's head when they don't pay.
He went into the parking and valet businesses, nightclubs, businesses with lots of cash, some of it earned illegally.
So Club Mirage was right over there?
Yeah.
It's now a vacant lot near Dale Mabry and Hillsborough.
I had lines around the corner. I used to have 1,500, 2,000 people every night here. Example, I walked into a nightclub called Kickers on Metropolitan Avenue back in the 80s. And we warned the bouncers that from now on, you guys are going to be unionized. There is no more going to work without going through us. If you go to work on Friday, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get shot. And I guess, on their behalf, people talk, so they didn't take it serious, I guess. They don't understand the mob world. They didn't understand me. They didn't know me the way I know me, obviously. And they didn't think that they just thought I was just another gangster, I guess, talking and giving an order. And they believed that their guy would protect them. And I warned the guy, when I shoot you, when I hurt you, if you come to work, it doesn't matter what your guy says. You're already shot, you're already hurt, you're already killed. Don't go to work. So I get a phone call, and I'm home sleeping, and I hear they're all at work. It's Friday night. The music's pumping. Everybody's drinking. And I call my buddy, and I said to him, come pick me up. He said, what are you going to do? I says, don't worry, just come pick me up. He picks me up. It's midnight, about that. We get in the car. I load up a couple of guns. I actually carried 3. I would carry an automatic, so I had the extra shots. I'd carry a revolver, and I would carry a 2-shot Derringer in a jock strap in case I run out of anything. I have something left that people don't know I have on me. And we get in the car. We pull up. I tell him to circle the block. There's a gas station around the corner from Kickers. I tell him, just stay in the parking lot. And he's a big guy, tough guy, Irish guy. And he says to me, no, I'm going to come with you. I said, I don't need you. So when we pull up to the bar, one of the head managers is there. And as soon as I see him, I says, come here. And he goes, John, he's trying to talk. And my guy, without asking me, went to swing at him. But when he went to swing at him, I already shot him in the stomach. And so he looks at me with like a half smile. He goes, oh, I thought I had him with a right hand. And, you know, people don't understand there's a dry sense of humor what we do because we do it all the time. This is not something that we do once in a while. In my case, I did it on a regular basis. After I shot him, one of the bouncers came out to react to the shooting, not realizing he's going to get shot. And him, I just hip shot. I believe I shot him in the right or left. It doesn't matter. I hit him in one of the sides of his hip, and then he went down. I shot him in the leg. And then I continued, and I went inside the bar. And I found 2 other guys that I warned not to come in. One was some sort of manager, and he went to hit me, and my guy went to hit him. And then I shot him. And after I finished with him, I looked for one of the owners who went up the back and jumped out a side window. And then I caught the 4th guy by the back door, and I shot him. I think he got shot up in the chest area somewhere. And then when he went down, I shot him again. So I shot the 4 guys, and my guy started to run out the door. And I said, whoa, where you going? Now the whole club, you can imagine, is in disarray. Everybody's running out. Everybody's screaming. The lights come on. The DJ music stops. And I put the gun and I pointed at one of the bartenders. I said, don't go nowhere. And I said, make me a drink. At that time, I was drinking vodka and cranberry. Now I switch it up to martinis. But at that time, it was vodka and cranberry. And he looked at me like I was insane. And I said, relax. I said, this has nothing to do with you. I ain't going to shoot you. Get me the drink. And I told my friend, sit down. So he's looking at me. He didn't understand. He goes, John, we're going to get pinched. Let's go. I go, relax, sit down. I says, I got to make a statement here. And I wanted them to know that I came there and I'm not worried about anybody, not even law enforcement. And I had that drink and I says, okay. And I didn't gulp it. I sipped it. I stayed. We walked out the door. I put the gun back under my shirt. And as we come there, the police are all pulling up. And you got probably 10 police cars there, ambulance, fire engines, EMS, everybody's there. And as we're walking out, we just point inside, like the shooters are still inside. Nobody did nothing to us. We went around the corner, we got in our car, and we went back to our social club in Ozone Park. And I reported back that this was taken care of. Now, I think they got the message now that the bouncers work through us or they don't work.
But the FBI was on to him. He fled the country to Paris, Colombia, Rio. He was finally caught and put in prison in Brazil, then extradited back to Tampa, where he would admit to a shocking list of crime.
I believe are involved in about 45 shootings. I said I was the shooter approximately of about 37 people.
He thinks as few as 8 or 10 may have actually died.
But at least I can be honest and say it could be up to 15 murders and 45 shootings.
Do you have regrets, John, about the past, about the old life, about these things that have gone on?
Oh, of course, everybody's going to have regrets, but if I live in regrets, you never move forward. You know, so yeah, I got regrets. I think about some things. I wish I did things differently. I wish I became a lawyer, a politician, or a ball player like I planned. I wish that, I didn't kill and shoot as many people as I did, obviously. You know, I went through PTSD. I have my crying spells myself. I'm not ashamed to say it. What I did in the past, I'm ashamed of. I can't take it back. I told my children, I'm your dad, I love you, I made terrible mistakes.
Sentenced to 10 years, he was released in 2013. As part of his deal, he testified against other mobsters. Will they come after him?
The risk I take of somebody coming after me, that's fine. I've dealt with my whole life that way.
But he says he's had enough.
I've been beaten all over the street. I've been stabbed. I've been baseball batted. I've been hit with cars. I've been in solitary confinement for years at a time. The difference is I'm okay with opening the windows and doors to my life and let people, look in. Other people talk a lot, but they don't open the windows and doors.